What's poppin'? Welcome back to the station. Welcome back to the channel. Y'all know who it is, your boy Ray G. You can find me on X at RayGQue. We are here. Week 7 of the college football season is upon us. Week 6 of NFL already kicked off. The Giants, big upset victory over Philadelphia, led by 2 rookies. So this is the time to be tapped into this 2026 class. And it's a good day because my good friend over at ESPN, Jordan Reid, just dropped his top 14 quarterbacks for this upcoming draft class. I'm going to link the article in the description of this video. I'm not going to show y'all all 14 names. We'll talk through a lot of them, but that's paywalled content. He works really hard for that to support ESPN and Jordan Reid in particular, one of the best draft minds out there. But we're going to talk about some of these players, and I've got some data from LaNorris, a lot of conversations. I promised you more draft content on the way, and if you happen to miss it, over on the channel earlier this week, I did drop a top 10 NFL mock draft going through the top 10 projected teams at that point in time. Everything is not clear yet, so I didn't go the full 32, not going a 2-round mock draft just yet, but just focusing on the top 10 teams and more importantly, the conversation around some of the players who could be projected there. So check out the content right there on the channel. I appreciate you being here. If you're new, we have a good time every time. I only ask you to do one thing, help this channel grow by hitting the thumbs up button, subscribing if you're watching the video. We do a lot of fun stuff live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, myself and my co-host Jay Rich, and then NFL draft content, different spin on it. So if you play fantasy football, dynasty fantasy football, or just a fan of the NFL game, this is the channel for you. We got a lot to talk about. Let's get right into it after the intro, baby. All right, as alluded to, this is a great weekend for college football, especially if your team needs a quarterback. You see it right here. Jordan Reid tweeted this out earlier. If your team needs a QB in 2026, this is the weekend to get a preview of some of the top names that could be on the draft board here in 2026. You get Fernando Mendoza in Indiana versus number 3 ranked Oregon. Who would have thought? Battle of these 2 top 10 teams and potentially the top 2 quarterbacks in this class if Dante Moore declares. Going to be an outstanding matchup. This might be the front runner for the 101 overall, the top quarterback in this class. Mendoza and Indiana versus Oregon and Moore. Be locked in for that one. We've got an SEC battle, LaNorris Sellers versus Garrett Nussmeyer. Nussbus was high for a lot of us coming into the season. QB1, QB2 for most, but he's fallen back a little bit throughout the play of some of the other quarterbacks this season. We got John Mateer in Texas right up the road, Cotton Bowl. Hey, this is going to be a good one. If Mateer can get out there on the field, looks like he's probable. You've got Oklahoma and Mateer back in action, missed a couple of games, and then Arch Manning in Texas. And then we also get a look at Alabama signal caller fast riser Ty Simpson. I've continued to talk about how good he has looked for Alabama early, but this is a weekend where you're going to want to watch some college football. But let's pull up this article and look at who Jordan Reid has number 1 on his QB big board right now. It's not Fernando Mendoza. It's not LaNorris Sellers. It's first-year starter at Oregon, Dante Moore. Transfers from UCLA. It's a dump. All kinds of crazy stuff happening right now at UCLA. Dante Moore took his talents to Oregon. He had to wait a little bit, but it has paid off. And Dan Lanning, he's building something special over there at Oregon. So Dante Moore, 6'3", 206. Reid has him projected in round 1. He talks about how good he's been this season, accuracy, poise. He's got the size, and he's mobile. Like, Dante Moore can move around. He's not what you would consider a dual threat quarterback, and that's fine. Like, you don't need to be a dual threat quarterback. Just be able to move around, right? And he can do that, and he can pick up yards. Like, he's a tactical scrambler at the QB position. He's just poised. A great sort of processor of what's going on. You know, above average arm talent. I don't think his arm is the most special cannon of an arm that we've seen in the NFL, but we know you don't need that. You need to be able to make quick decisions and make the right damn decisions. And so far, through the beginning of the season, Dante Moore has done that. Let's take a look at some more advanced stats. So I'm pulling up LaNorris. It's this database that I have access to. Don't ask. It's not available to the public like that. But here you go. We got the quarterbacks pulled up right here. I've got most of the 2026 quarterbacks on the chart right now. And let's just look at what Dante Moore has done this season. So Moore right here from a passing yard perspective, because I was looking at some sack numbers. We'll talk about that with LaNorris Sellers. Dante Moore, yards-wise, 1,200 yards on the season. You've got Nussmeyer and Arch Manning, Fernando Mendoza, all in that 1,200-yard range, a little bit ahead of him. Maiava from USC, 1,584, leading this cohort of quarterbacks that I'm tracking right now. But that's fine. You look at the touchdown passes, Dante Moore, 14, Fernando Mendoza, 16. Both of these quarterbacks have one interception apiece. And if I'm not mistaken, the Dante Moore pick was like right before half versus Northwestern. He was just throwing the ball up. What's really interesting is the chunk plays. These are 15-plus yard pass attempts. When we look at where Moore and Mendoza both rank amongst this cohort of quarterback, right now they got 24 apiece. That's fewer 15-yard plays than Klubnik, Josh Hoover, Taylor Green, Arch Manning, some more from Arch, Ty Simpson, 36, and Maiava leading the way with 37. Explosive plays, those are 30-plus yards down the field. Fernando Mendoza, 9, Dante Moore, 5. Okay, let's go rushing yard just to see who's got the edge rushing. You've got Taylor Green up here at the top. Dante Moore, 134 rushing yards. Fernando Mendoza right behind him, 132 rushing yards. And then something that I'm kind of really paying attention to, let's look at completion percentage. Dante Moore and Fernando Mendoza at the top of the class, both completing over 73% of their passes, which is very, very, very good. Completion percentage over expected, those two guys at the top. This is a metric that I really, really look for as far as success for NFL quarterbacks, and both of these guys at the top of the class in that category. And then this one right here, sack percentage. What percent of the dropbacks are these quarterbacks being sacked? Dante Moore, one of the best, tied for the lead right here for the lowest sack percentage amongst this 2026 eligible cohort. He's got Klubnik in there. You got Trinidad Chambliss out of Ole Miss, but 0.7% of his dropbacks resulting in a sack. Now, you can say some of that is he plays on a great team. They got a good offensive line, but he's not running into trouble, which I'm, again, really paying attention to that this season. Fernando Mendoza right here at 3.9%, which is not bad either. So when you just look at, these guys, and then you look at where the pass placement is for Mendoza, dope chart. If you're not watching on YouTube, I highly suggest you check it out on the channel. But you can see where his pass attempts and his ball placement is right here amongst the wide receiver. Pretty damn good for Dante Moore. Pretty damn good as far as getting the ball where it needs to go. And then let's just take a look at Fernando Mendoza and where, even better. Mendoza is just dead on accurate. You see a few errant throws for Mendoza, but by and large, he is hitting his pass catchers where they need to go, right in the middle, right in the center, catchable balls for Fernando Mendoza. You want to throw a catchable pass, and Fernando Mendoza and Dante Moore both do that, so I'm not shocked, right? I'm not shocked to see Jordan Reid have Dante Moore at the top. I like Moore a lot. I like Dante Moore a lot. I guess for me, where I was at, even in the mock, I did not include him nor Ty Simpson in my top 10 mock because this is his first real year starting. He had a couple of starts at UCLA, then it didn't go right. He transferred. He had to wait behind DG, and now he's here. So this team, they've got a lot of talent on Oregon. They got a dope young running back. You've got Decorian Moore, the wide receiver, who will be one of the better wide receivers in the country next season. People will be talking about him as a top prospect, top name wide receiver. Like, it could come back and continue to just improve his draft stock. He's only, I believe, a redshirt sophomore right now, so he's got 2 years of eligibility left. And we've seen the NFL really value and prioritize experience at the quarterback position. I'm not saying Bo Nix is the greatest quarterback, and I'm not saying just because you stay in college for a long time means you're going to be a great NFL player, but experience does matter. So for some of these guys that are year one starters, and in the case of a player like Ty Simpson, who I like a lot, he started a grand total of 5 SEC games. So I'm excited, and I think what's happening is we've been let down and disappointed by some of the guys who were supposed to be at the top. Garrett Nussmeyer was supposed to be at the top of this class, no doubt about it. Klubnik was a top pick for most coming into the season. Arch Manning was in the fold. Drew Aller was in the fold, and now they're not. Now they're not, and there is some waffling and skepticism on South Carolina quarterback LaNorris Sellers. So where we sit today, it's like if he declares he's the best of what we have, but I don't know if Moore is just, he's not out there Joe Burrowing it, 2019 Burrow at LSU. It's not one of them special type seasons, but he's been outstanding. Command, delivery, poise, rushing ability, ball placement, 74% completion percentage. I'm not going to knock you at all. I think Oregon fans would also say, hey, one more year, Dante Moore, which could set up a really special 2027 NFL draft class. But let's move to another quarterback. And yes, no surprise, Fernando Mendoza. Fernando Mendoza is number 2 on Reid's board. At number 2, number 1. I mocked him as the first quarterback off of the board in my recent mock earlier this week. 6'5", 225, transfer from Cal. We saw some of the stuff on the Huddle IQ screen. I'm going to pull that back up. Let's get some stats up, just Mendoza, and look at where he's at again. I mean, he's played well, and that's with some drops from the Cooper, the wide receiver. He's had a couple of drops from those Indiana pass catchers. But by and large, right now, Mendoza leading the way amongst his cohort, 16 touchdown passes, only 1 interception, and a 3% sack rate. Was it 3.9% sack rate, completion percentage over expected, the highest amongst this group. Let me just give you the lowest ones, right? Are they getting more than what's given to them, or are they like not doing what they need to do? Arch Manning at the bottom. Then you've got Green, then you've got Nussmeyer and Drew Aller right there at 0%. So those are your 0 to sub 0% guys. A little bit ahead of that. I mean, Dante Moore, 8.8%. So in my opinion, these are your top 2 guys. These are your top 2 guys. If, and it's a big if was a fifth, right? But if Dante Moore declares, but right now he's absolutely playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the country. You see Mendoza. I mean, he had 1 interception on the season, and that was versus Iowa in his last game. So big time matchup for both of these quarterbacks in this game this weekend. I think the winner from this one should be viewed, or at least the perception is going to be, that's the QB1 in this 2026 draft class. Mendoza versus Dante Moore. Have your popcorn ready. This should be a great matchup. Now let's go on to a quarterback. Man, I can't quit him. There are some big time red flags, okay? And what Reid said right here about LaNorris Sellers, 6'3", 240 pounds, redshirt sophomore, his projected draft range, late round 1, early day 2 right now. In this article, multiple scouts told me prior to the season he was one of the favorites to be the top quarterback in this class. 886 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. This has not been the type of big-time production season that we were hoping for from Sellers, but the offensive line, not good. He's faced pressure right here. Reid says it. Faced pressure on 42.5% of his dropbacks, 8th most in college football. He's been sacked FBS high 12.4% of his dropbacks, with his 2.9 average second time to throw, which ranks 120th out of 138 quarterbacks. There are some areas of concern. This pressure to sack thing, this pressure to sack number, quarterbacks running into sacks, it's something that I kind of call bullshit on. Last year, I didn't really want to hear it, right? Shedeur took a lot of sacks. Anthony Richardson took a lot of sacks. It's everybody else's fault. It's not the quarterback's fault. It's everybody else's fault. And context-wise, if you watch football, you know there are reasons why. If you've got a poor offensive line play, poor offensive coordinator play design sort of deployment, it does not make things easier for your offense, whether it's the quarterback, the receiver, getting the ball to the running back. But there are some things that Sellers needs to improve on as well. There are absolutely some things that LaNorris Sellers himself has to get better at, and taking sacks is one of them. Like, that whole pressure to sack ratio, I'm not ignoring that this year. And when you go just look at him versus some other quarterbacks in this 2026 cohort, here we are right here. I mean, he's double. He's double the next closest. The next closest is Arch Manning, and people just, I mean, it feels like he's getting sacked left and damn right, Arch Manning, right? But LaNorris Sellers is double that of the next closest quarterback in this cohort that we're looking at. And then when you look at the quarterbacks who are not taking sacks, you got Maiava out of USC, who I really like. I like Maiava. I don't know NFL-wise where he's at, but I like him. Dante Moore right there tied with him with the lowest in the country. Fernando Mendoza, 3.9% is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's Arch Manning. It's Josh Hoover. Ty Simpson, 4.8%. Drew Aller, 4.1%. And then LaNorris Sellers, 13.9%, which You can't have that. You just cannot have that. Now you look at his yards for completion, it's top 3. So a lot of pushing the ball downfield, throwing the ball downfield. Let's just look at true completion percentage for Sellers versus some of these other quarterbacks. 66%. CPOE is positive. Completion percentage over expected is positive. It's right in line with Ty Simpson, better than John Mateer, better than Nussmeyer, better than Drew Allar. So let's just take a look at his passing chart. Let's see where his throws are landing amongst his pass catchers. Sacked, yeah, here's the sacks by games. 4, 2, 1, 5, and 2. Chunk plays, he had 7 versus Missouri, 4 explosive plays, 30-plus yards. And then the pass placement chart. Just remember where Fernando Mendoza's was on the screen, bottom right. If you're not watching, go to YouTube, subscribe. Look at where, remember Mendoza's was all consolidated, right in the middle. Hitting his wide receiver right on target. Sellers, a little erratic, a little bit. And I think a lot of people are going to be weary on Sellers. And I don't want to knock him at all. I think he's an incredibly talented quarterback. He's still up there, top 2 guy for me in the class, along with Mendoza. But the failures of some of these dual threat quarterbacks in the league right now, Anthony Richardson being drafted extremely high. Listen, Jalen Hurts is a Super Bowl winning quarterback, but every time I get on social media, I'm being told that he can't throw the damn ball. So I think there's going to be a lot of fear and apprehension for these type of quarterbacks. We'll see. He's still got a lot of time left. And I mean, listen, Miami, this is a team that always takes in veteran quarterbacks. Like, there's no guarantee that Sellers at the end of the season, not having quite the statistical season that we thought, he might come back. There's a real chance that he comes back and runs it back one more year, but maybe not at South Carolina, okay? Maybe not at South Carolina. So I'll give you 5 quarterbacks from Reid. At 4, because I already kind of showed it on the screen, Ty Simpson out of Alabama. 6'1", 205. He's not the biggest guy, but man, he's got a hose. He's got an absolute hose. 84.2% catchable pass attempts, top 11, top 12 in the country. I mean, he is on time. He's on schedule. He does a little too much sometimes. I think he needs to reel it back in. But the reason why, and the projected range from Reid here is an early, mid-day 2 guy, and I think that's really appropriate. He's not the number 1 pick. I know there are a lot of content creators saying, oh yeah, number 1, top quarterback in the class, Ty Simpson right now. Started 5 damn games. I even in the SEC, starting 5 games, I can't put you at the top. Not 5 games. 15 games, maybe. 10 games, maybe, but not 5. Not 5 to say right now you're the top guy in the country. Now, there's still a lot of football left to be played. I don't think he's waited his time. Ty Simpson has absolutely done his part, waited for his moment, and now he's delivering. You see his pass placement chart right here where he's getting the ball to his pass catchers. It's tight. He's got a few errant throws, but by and large, not bad. By and large, not bad for Ty Simpson. Only 1 interception on the season, 8 sacks, 36 chunk plays. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Push the ball down the field, right? Push the ball down the field. Ty Simpson, amongst this cohort of quarterback that we're looking at, he's right there with Jaden Maiava at the top. Chunk play rate, getting the ball 15-plus yards down the field. He's doing a good job of that. Not as many explosives. He's not what you would consider a dual threat quarterback. I think he's a tactical scrambler. I think he's got more than enough functional mobility to be good in that department. Let's see how the season plays out for Alabama. Kalen DeBoer has got his guy. Again, this is a young player. He is a redshirt junior, so 1 more season in Tuscaloosa. 1 more season in Tuscaloosa might do him some good. So Ty Simpson, like where he's at. Who do they play this weekend? Let's see who Alabama's got. Missouri, right? Alabama's got Missouri this weekend. So a big test. A big test for Ty Simpson versus Missouri, and Ahmad Hardy is a stud. Wish he was in this class. Wish Ahmad Hardy was in this 26 class. But big opportunity for Ty Simpson versus Missouri to just continue to create the growing buzz for his draft stock. I don't think he's a round 1 guy yet, but I like him. I like him a lot. All right, the last quarterback that I'm going to show on the screen, right? Go check out his work. Go subscribe to ESPN. Get Jordan Reid's work. Carson Beck. Carson Beck out of Miami. 6th-year senior. So he's got enough experience. He's got experience for days. Right now, Reid's got him early, midday 2 guy. 6'4", 220. At one point in time, he was the number 1 projected pick in this upcoming last year's class in 2025. And then he had to enter the portal. Things didn't work out at Georgia. And now he's sort of rehabilitated his career and his image here at Miami under Mario Cristobal. We saw what he did with Cam Ward last year as well. This just feels like a spot that maybe some of these quarterbacks that, maybe Klubnik. I know people may not want to hear it. ACC transfer, maybe Klubnik. Maybe Klubnik in Miami next year to sort of rehabilitate his draft stock. Maybe CJ Bailey. You got a couple of guys that may transfer, and if Klubnik's got any eligibility, he's been in college forever. But let's take a look at where Carson Beck ranks. Let's take a look at where Beck is, what he's done, the vibes on Beck. Big win for Miami over Florida State. I mean, they beat the brakes off of Florida State. Beat the absolute brakes off of Florida State in that game. Carson Beck on the season, passing yards wise, right in between Klubnik and Arch Manning, 1232, 11 touchdown passes, 3 interceptions, and some spectacular grabs from his wide receivers. 26 chunk plays, 7 explosives. Let's check out his pass placement chart, see where he's putting the ball at. And interesting enough, this is okay. Not bad. A lot of high, a lot of low. But you look at the player comparisons. So let's go player comparison. And these are some of the best comparable players based on traits, based on tools, all of that stuff to Carson Beck right now. Let me move this over here so you could see, without me filtering anybody, some similar players to Carson Beck. Dante Moore, Fernando Mendoza, the aforementioned CJ Bailey, Julian Sand, and John Mateer. So you got some of the best, right? Some of the best projected guys in 26. EPA per pass attempt, 0.36 for Carson Beck. Dante Moore, 0.44. Fernando Mendoza, 0.46. Julian Sand, 0.53. Young guy, he's not going to declare. He's not going to be out there. CJ Bailey, again, quiet guy that could transfer. But Beck's played well. Success rate higher than that of Dante Moore, 62%. Completion percentage higher than that of Fernando Mendoza, 73%. CPOE, much lower. So he's right at 4.95%. So not great. I mean, not bad at all. But it is not at the level of Dante Moore or Fernando Mendoza, who are in the upper echelon, kind of double where he is. But chunk play rate higher than that of Dante Moore. Explosive play rate higher than that of Dante Moore. Sack percentage a little bit lower. But that's the thing. Like, he's done as good of a job as Carson Beck probably could have done to rehabilitate his image this season. I watch him and I feel like he's okay, right? He feels like to me, if he lands in a situation like where Mac Jones is in San Francisco and you've got a dope offensive play caller like Kyle Shanahan, I think that Carson Beck can step in and operate an NFL offense. No doubt about it. I think he could step in, operate an NFL offense. I think this is a good projected range for him. I think he's better than Tyler Shough, who was drafted at pick 40. I think he's better than Tyler Shough. He's probably got more NFL potential, arm talent than Shedeur did, and I was high on him coming out of Colorado. So I think he'll be there at the end. I don't think this is a true threat to be a top pick in the draft. Love the rehabilitation story. Love what he's doing at Miami, leading this team. They got so many playmakers across the board. He should continue to play well, and we'll see where his stock ends up at the end of the season. But let's get through a few more quarterbacks, some interesting ones that Reid was talking about. So let me go back to the full list, and then let me pull this up. We've got an Oklahoma quarterback. We've got Nuss. We've got Aller, Taylor Green, Josh Hoover is on this list. Trinidad Chambliss out of Ole Miss. What was surprising was how far Cade Klubnik has fallen. So I will pull Cade up. I'll show you where Reid has Cade right now going into week 7. QB 13 for Cade Klubnik. And I mean, hell, I was wrong too. I had this dude at QB 3 coming into the season, but the play has not been good. He's got him as a mid-late day 3 guy. Mid to late day 3 guy. He's a senior. I feel like he's got another season left. And I mean, right here, Jordan Reid said that's part of why I had him as the #1 pick in my way too early mock draft. It was the starters. You had Antonio Williams. You had all these Wesco. They've got all this talent. And then defensively, it felt like this was going to be a team that was going to put Klubnik in good situations, right? In good situations to be successful. And it hasn't really materialized into wins for this team. He's played up and down. There are moments where Klubnik looks like, oh man, I can see some of the talent. I can see why people were excited about him, right? And then there are a lot of other moments where you're like, man, I don't know what the hell he's seeing or doing out there on the field. It's not translating to a lot of wins. It's not translating to a lot of success for some of his players, for some of the supporting cast. If he's got eligibility left, it would be interesting to see where Klubnik can end up. And let's not forget, man, he's from Austin, Texas. I don't want to start no shit here. He's from Austin, Texas. I'm going to just leave it at that. Could Sark potentially use a veteran quarterback if there's eligibility left to come over and operate that UT offense, or is Arch going to figure it out? There are a lot of people speculating Arch might hit the transfer portal. I'm not going to go there yet. I think this weekend's game against Oklahoma is going to be big for him. But just looking at this QB class, looking at the talent at the top and some of the uncertainty and some of the fall of these guys, it's just going to make for such a compelling end-of-season stretch for this QB position. Mendoza, Hoover, Simpson, Green, Beck, Maiava, Aller, Sellers. Like, where y'all at? Talk to me. Like, I want this video to be, let's have a conversation about these guys. Should I start including Dante Moore in the cohort of 2026 draft prospects? I have not done it. I just personally feel like one more year. He's not going to declare. He's going to get the advice from the advisory committee to go back. But I guess this weekend's game against Indiana will be a big stepping stone for him, either feeling like, hey, I'm ready to go, or, man, we still got a lot left to do here. We still got a lot left to do here at Oregon, and I'm staying put. Every single week, we are going to do more and more and more and more college football talk. It's not just about mocks and who's going to be the next superstar, but what might some of these NFL teams do, and how do these performances impact the way that you feel about what your team should do? And a real question with some of these guys, I want y'all to tell me in the comments right now. Would you rather have your team sign Daniel Jones to a 1 or 2 year deal, sign Sam Darnold, bring in Mac Jones, or draft LaNorris Sellers? Spend the first round pick on Garrett Nussmeyer. How do you really feel about Fernando Mendoza? Because I think these are going to be the conversations that a lot of these teams have with their scouting department, GM, head coach. Like, do we go get one of these veteran guys that know how to operate an NFL offense, that may have had some stank and some stain on them from past stops, but now under Shane Steichen, with Kyle Shanahan, like, this could work. So let me know where y'all at with the class. Saw some people early this morning on our Friday show on Wake Up saying, man, the class is mid. I don't think the class is mid. I think what it is we're waiting for somebody to step up and to be like, I'm the guy. And we might get that this weekend. So shout out to Jordan Reid. All his work over on ESPN. Link in the description of the video. Hit the thumbs up button. Like the content. Subscribe to the channel. Stay locked in for every single thing that we do. More NFL draft, college football, and how that translates to the NFL and fantasy football on deck here on the channel. Much love. Enjoy football this weekend, and I'll see y'all next week. I'm out. Peace.